Hi guys, this is Hero, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the concept or the word of manifesting or manifestation, okay? So, get started. One is that, obviously, you guys know this is like a huge buzzword in the spiritual community, okay? Now, there's two extremes when it comes to, you can say opinions on this topic, okay? One is that manifestation, it's a whole bunch of garbage, it's all imaginary, nonsense, etc. Doesn't work. Whatever. And the other one is that it works like a charm. You barely have to do anything. You kind of just sit back, just think about what you want, and it just comes, right? So both of them, as you can tell, are, in my opinion, not resourceful opinions to take too seriously, okay? The first one you can kind of understand is a little bit ignorant, okay? There's a quote where it's like, you don't know what you don't know, okay? So these people, they just think that their way is the only way. Anything outside of, you know, what they're used to is not, it's not true, whatever. And the second one, it's just really naive, okay, to think that, okay? And probably that, not only naive, but also like, there's a lot of topics in general in the spiritual community where it's like, you know, the mind genuinely overall, it believes what it wants to believe, okay? And there's people, when they search for information, especially on the internet, they want to be told things that they want to be told, okay? So, they don't want to be told, like, the absolute truth, okay? So, just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to this manifestation, okay? One thing you have to understand is that there's certain levels of this birth, right? So, this is the physical, okay? The concept of manifestation, it's a spiritual one, okay? So when you manifest things, they manifest at the spiritual first, and then they come down and they play out here, okay? For those of you guys who are pretty into like dream interpretation and stuff like that, you guys probably understand this topic, or you will, like, throughout this video, hopefully understand it a little bit better, okay? And I'm going to make a separate video on dream interpretation later. But that when you have dreams, things just happen all over the place, right? Because things are just manifesting like left and right. Like at a spiritual level, things happen instantly. Okay? Now, I'm not going to get too much into, in this video at least, like what dreams are and stuff like that. But at the physical, things don't just happen instantly left and right. Okay? Like the way that they do spiritually. Okay, because it happens a lot different spiritually. Now, what you have to do is, okay, in order to manifest properly also, you have to be able to differentiate your like true soul desires versus like what your ego is trying to distract you with. Okay, I made a video on this. It's like soul desires versus ego distractions. Okay, I strongly recommend you watch that. Manifestation is not going to work for your ego desires. Okay, it is only going to work for your, for like your true soul desires. Okay, not your ego distractions. Okay, anything your ego is trying to play with you, like so at a general sense, without going too much into detail, because I already made another video on this. Your soul has desires. Your ego kind of gets attached to how those desires are playing out. Okay, and then that's how it causes you to suffer. So in this situation, your soul has desires, okay? If you're able to, you know, do meditation, whatever, use whatever sort of method, yoga, astrology, whatever, to attain a higher state of consciousness, you'll be able to tell what your true soul desires are, okay? Those actually will 100% get fulfilled, okay? It's just, like I said, how they get fulfilled is all the nonsense that the ego is concerned with. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a desire of having like a nice relationship, okay? You can get that. You will get that if your soul is desiring it. Now, your ego might try to throw you off and be like, oh no, it's got to be with this person. And, you know, I got to make sure these people all think, you know, this kind of way about, you know, my, you know, like future relationship with specifically this person. I think you guys get the idea, okay? Your ego is the one that takes off. Usually if it has to do, if it's something that's rooted in like you wanting to like show off for other people, or you wanting to get some kind of validation or attention. Usually it could be a soul desire, but there's like a huge ego layer on top of it that's not going to make you satisfied when it fulfills that desire, okay? It's going to keep having you chasing and chasing and chasing and causing more suffering, okay? Now, back to the title of this video, which is manifestation. So, in my opinion, you're not going to have too much success manifesting at all anything that the ego wants, that like the soul really doesn't care about. Okay, like I said, this is a spiritual kind of thing, okay? You have to leave the ego out of it. And the only way to leave the ego out of it is to be aware of what the ego wants. And the only way to be aware of what the ego wants is to like do the meditation, do the hard work to like raise your intuition and awareness, okay? A lot of people don't want to hear that, okay? There's people who, let's just say they've really wanted to badly like manifest like a spouse, okay? That person will come. But if there's just one thing off that the ego has a problem with, you know, they're not happy, okay? That's why it is very crucially important. No matter what you're manifesting in your life, if you're not able to put the ego aside or differentiate what the ego wants versus what the soul truly wants, nothing even matters, okay? You're just gonna be constantly suffering, okay? It doesn't matter if you have everything in the world, you're gonna want more, okay? Or you're gonna want things just a different way, or you wish you would have gotten it just a little bit faster, or you know, you're still holding on to how things used to be. There's a whole host of stuff, okay? So that's that. So the manifestation thing. So let's just say hypothetically, you did the hard work and you're able to be aware of what your soul truly wants. And you're able to put the ego to the side. And yeah, let's just say you're able to identify what the soul truly desires, okay? Now, this does not mean, let's just say you've identified that that you have a desire. Let's just say, I'm going to use a spouse example, okay? Or a career. Let's just say you want a good job or something, right? You want your own business, whatever. This does not mean that you just do absolutely nothing and the desire will get fulfilled, okay? How it gets fulfilled usually is all determinant on your karma, okay? Now, your actions can be part of your karma, okay? That desire will come true, okay? I'll give you an example. Let's just say you have the desire of, a soul desire of someone, someone you could see that you want to be in a relationship with, come in your life, okay? That's a desire. Now, if you have quote-unquote really bad karma, you guys heard me talk about this in other videos. That person will come in your life, but it just won't happen, okay? They could be taken. There'll be some obstacle or another where it's just like, it's just not happening, okay? And the good desire is obviously where, you know, it happens, okay, quote-unquote. So that's that. So how exactly it plays out is all karma, okay? Now, your karma could be also, and this is why I use astrology, okay? Because astrology literally, it tells you your karma like this. Especially like the Indian, the Vedic astrology, okay? Not so much the Western one. And also some of the other Eastern ones describe it pretty well, okay? But the typical Western one, where you just really look at your sun sign and your basic planet placements, they only work to a very limited extent, I'll say, okay? And not so much of an accurate one either when it comes to certain things. But I'm going to leave that aside for right now, okay? Now, so I just said, your karma, sometimes it's like, you have to work for it and then you'll get it, okay? For those of you guys in Vedic astrology, like Upachya houses are strongly connected to this, okay? So it's like sometimes, like let's just say you have a desire to have a lot of money, okay? Bad karma could be like, or the desire, okay, so the spiritual desire actually it's written a little bit differently, okay? Because having implies physical, okay? Let's just say your spiritual desire is just to be in an energetic space of a lot of money, okay? Someone with quote unquote bad karma could be like, okay, they'll work for someone really rich, okay? Or you could be like a servant for someone. You're surrounded by all this money, but none of it's yours. You can't spend it, whatever, okay? Some people that are like, let's just say born rich, or, you know, they had very few obstacles in growing their own business or something like this. They won the lottery in rare cases, something where you didn't really have to work for it. And then there's some people that obviously had to work for it. It's all in your karma, okay? How you get that, or whether you get that, it's all in your karma, okay? Now, so the thought of manifestation, it's basically just, okay, putting your ego nonsense aside and seeing, okay, exactly what does my soul desire, okay? And when it gets what it desires, usually it learns the lessons it wants to in this birth, okay? For example, let's say that you want to be in an energetic space with a lot of material value, okay? That's your soul desire. So I just described a few situations. Now, there's a few reasons of why your soul could want this, okay? It could kind of see, okay, this is what it's like to experience money. So now I can you know, detach from it. And I can detach from that. And because, you know, I've kind of learned what it's like, okay? I've seen how much suffering money can cause and stuff. So you can learn that at each of those 3 phases, okay? Let's just say you're the servant of the house. You can see how much suffering, you know, let's just say your boss is always neurotic, filled with anxiety because of the money. He doesn't want to lose it, all this kind of stuff. You can still learn that even though you don't have it yourself. If you have it yourself, you obviously still will learn that. And even if you kind of, you know, have to gain it, it doesn't come so easily in life. You have to work a lot harder, or a little bit harder for it, or go through a few more struggles. You can kind of see at a soul level that similar things are being learned, okay? Which is, okay, I know what it's like to be in a space with money, and I know how, and I've learned at a soul level that money isn't everything, okay? It's just something material that's very temporary, just for this birth, you know, to give me small, like temporary material things, okay? So manifestation, like I said, we can, once we separate our ego versus soul stuff, ego distractions versus the soul desires, we can use manifestations to fulfill our soul desires, okay? But like I said, just don't get too attached to how those desires come true, okay? Because if you do, even if they come true, you know, quote unquote, very, very good, you're still going to be suffering and holding on to like how things could be a little bit different and stuff like that. And it's not going to leave too great of an outcome overall, okay? Even if you quote unquote get a lot, okay? And like I said, at the end of the day, there's a quote, you don't know what you don't know, okay? So I'm applying this to myself too, and I'm letting you guys know verbally, you know, in this video, that this is just kind of like my opinion and what my intuition is telling me. This is not, quote unquote, the absolute truth in any way, shape, or form, okay? So that's how I would use the concept of manifestation. Just go ahead and manifest things that your soul actually desires, okay? Don't get too attached to how they get fulfilled, and you'll notice once they get, if you detach from the ego and you actually obtain the true soul desires, you'll realize usually once it happens, like exactly the lesson that it was gonna bring and stuff like that. And you know, you're learning along the way spiritually, so that when this human birth ends, you know, you've attained this knowledge for wherever you go after this life, okay? So if you have any questions or comments overall, let me know. And until next time, guys, talk to you guys later. Thank you.